Good morning, folks, and welcome back to Wishwell Farms. Today is the big day our farm has been waiting for all season. It's the first day of sweet corn harvest for 2024. As soon as my crew arrives, we're going to head out here to the sweet corn patch. We got about 850 dozen that we got to get picked today for tomorrow's sales at farmers markets. All right, we're stepping into the corn patch for the first time in 2024. Actually, I did pick 40 dozen on Wednesday. It was the earliest in our farm's history of picking sweet corn, but it was a little spotty. It was a little difficult to find ripe ones. Today, it is every ear. We're gonna mow through here and get at least 850 dozen today. The way we pick our corn is we send 3 or 4 guys down the rows. Sometimes we'll have a 5th guy being a cleanup guy, walking behind the 4 main pickers or out front, just helping keep everybody together. And then we just gently toss it into these 2 wagons. We'll haul them up to the barn after they're full and get them unloaded and rolled into the cooler. I'll show you the whole process today. Our 4th picker is a little late to work. Try to film here, but I'm gonna have to jump in the row and start picking here in a minute. What do you think about this block? Is it looking pretty good?
I don't like it. Yeah.
Good. So we like to have 4 pickers at a time. I'm the 5th man, 6th man's driving the tractor. So what I'll do is I'll pick ahead of whoever is falling behind. Some rows are better than others because of bird damage and raccoon damage, and that person will usually move through the patch a little quicker. Someone will have a really good row and start falling behind, and I will pick in that row to help him get caught up. And if they're all together, I'll pick behind them and look for corn that was maybe missed. So you can see we use 2 flatbed wagons with sideboards. We can easily get 350 dozen in this one. Sometimes only 300 dozen in that one just because it's a little smaller. So we'll fill these up and get about 750 dozen, get it up in the barn, get it packed. Actually, what I'm gonna do today is take the white wagon up here in a little bit and have the zucchini and cucumber pickers and tomato pickers help me get that in the cooler. I'll bring it back down because we need 850 dozen today, and we can't get that on these 2 wagons alone. We're gonna need 2.5 wagons. It's a beautiful day to be out here in the corn patch. We are noticing a little bit more raccoon damage than I'd hoped to see. There's a patch over there that's totally devastated. Most of them stayed over there, fortunately. The good news is there's no bird damage yet. I didn't have to hang my helium scare balloons. They have like a bird of prey eyes painted on these like 2 feet balloons. Look like hawks or owls or something. But it's supposed to scare the birds away. But I haven't had the bird damage yet, and I don't have a helium on hand, so that's why I didn't put those up. We're moving through the patch a little quick right here. Kind of in a bad spot. There's some yellow nut sage pressure, and the corn's a little short and malnourished right here. So when that happens, we just move through the patch a little faster, get to another good spot. What we like to do is go around each block. I plant my corn in 24 row blocks. We go around each block and pick the outside rows, and we see which block's the ripest. And then we'll stick to that block and then just mow through it and finish that one off. So since this is our first pick today, we don't know where the ripest corn is, but we're soon going to find out by going around every block. And then we'll stick to that one, clean it out, and then move on to the next one.
$1, $2, I would sell for 10.
So what these guys do every year, I mean, most of the guys picking here have been picking for me for several years now. Brett and Ryan.
30 for me. Actually,
yeah, like 30. Joel's been picking since he could walk. This is only Ryan's second season. Brett's probably helped a little bit for the last few seasons. Me, Jake, and Blake, quite a long time. But what these guys do is they all take turns being a driver. You know, ideally, I'd have some old retired guy up there driving and have all these strong, fast pickers down here picking, but they like to take turns picking to give themselves a break. So they'll try to entice someone to give up their right to drive for a certain amount of money. What's the going price right now, guys?
Blake said he won't take over 10.
Now that Blake's a big YouTuber, he needs big money to get enticed to hop back down in here in the sweet corn patch. But in the past, $2 or $5 would do it.
Or root beer.
So they'll take turns, they'll drive one round, and then they'll hop off and someone else will take his place. I decided to bring the first wagon up to get it unloaded since we need it back down in the field, but this is how we do this. We take one of the sideboards off. Everybody lines up here with a green tub. We're shooting for 50 ears per tub today. We'll stack 5 high on a pallet, so 20 tubs times 4, 80 dozen per pallet. Into the cooler. All right, that little load in the white wagon had about 160 dozen on it. Got a long way to go. So I'm heading back down to get the red wagon now. They should about have it full with about 300 to 350 dozen. We'll get it packed. And by the end of the morning, this entire area back there in the cooler will be filled up with 850 dozen. We got our first full wagon load coming up out of the field. It should be around 300 to 350 dozen. Nice looking corn. Just brought our final load of corn up. Hopefully there's about 330 dozen in there. Rolling this one into the cooler. Getting a pretty good load in here. Still got quite a bit more coming in. Man, that was a whirlwind of a morning. Everybody is done packing corn, packing tomatoes, picking zucchini and cucumbers, and I sent all my crew home for lunch. And I'm about ready to go in for lunch myself, but I'm going to give you a look in the cooler at our corn pick. It went pretty well. $875 dozen. So selling 875 dozen tomorrow at the farmers markets is going to be a pretty big payday tomorrow. We're going to be selling for $9 a dozen in Columbus, $5 for a half dozen, and $1 per ear. Now here at our small local hometown farmers market and at our mobile produce trailer, we will be selling it for $8 a dozen and $4.50 a half dozen and 75 cents per ear. So just a little bit cheaper out here in the rural areas where we don't have to transport the corn so far, because we have extra expense involved with trucking the corn to Columbus to farmers markets and more labor involved. So that's why we charge a premium price for our corn at the Columbus farmers markets. So it's probably going to average out pretty close to $10 a dozen, because a lot of people will buy their corn in smaller increments where we're going to get more per ear. So it's going to be a pretty big payday tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of cash flowing, but that's what we need. I have not been making much margin at all on produce sales at the farmers markets. Our tomatoes, which you can't see, they're all inside the tomato cooler back here. Oh, I didn't load my tomatoes on the Worthington truck yet. We just finished loading the other 4 trucks. I'm going to throw those in the Worthington truck there. So tomatoes are really the only thing I'm making a lot of money on right now. But there's a lot of expenses involved in growing greenhouse tomatoes. So I'm probably finally netting making some profit on the greenhouse tomatoes, but they're winding down now. So now, we're in our final month of picking greenhouse tomatoes, and now we're waiting on the field tomatoes to ripen up. So now that we're selling sweet corn and green beans, 2 of our larger items, I'm actually going to be generating a lot more revenue now, and I can start paying down that operating loan at the bank. Next up will be cantaloupes, probably 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 to 2.5 weeks. We should start harvesting some of our own cantaloupe. Probably 3 or 4 weeks yet for watermelon. Now tomorrow morning, I will personally be at one of the farmers markets. The final truck out here, the Logan County Farmers Market truck, which is our hometown farmers market, one of our smaller ones. I am training a new employee there tomorrow. I normally stick around the farm after packing all these box trucks just to be able to put out fires in case something happens. But I will be there tomorrow, and I'll bring you guys along for the ride to show you our sweet corn sales at the Logan County Farmers Market. Right now, I'm going to head in for lunch, and I will bring you guys back tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. for sweet corn loading on all of those box trucks. See you then. Good morning. It is 4 a.m. I have 6 trucks and trailers to load with 850 dozen ears of corn and 40 bushels of beans. I have 2.5 hours to get it finished up, get changed, eat breakfast, and be on the road to a farmer's market myself. So we better get started. First thing we need to do, get that sweet corn all rolled out so I can forklift it onto the trucks. There's the beans. There's some more over there. Just about everything in here will be loaded into the trucks today, except maybe all the peaches and the rest of those cantaloupes. It's going to be a busy morning. Got my 6 spreadsheets laid out for the 6 vehicles going to markets today. Some new price cards because today is sweet corn for the first time this season. Never thought I'd see the day I'd be charging this much for sweet corn. But that's the go-on price these days, believe it or not. I remember when $3 a dozen was good money. Not anymore. So I always make myself a little cheat sheet here to help me quickly load the trucks. Worthington truck, that's the W. That one's heading out here in an hour, so I'm going to load that one right away. So I'm just going to roll out 65 tubs. There's 4 dozen per tub, 260 dozen, and 15 bushels of beans. We'll get it loaded onto that truck on the far right and get it on the road. So you can see how I did the corn here. I carefully pick it up with a forklift, bring it right over to the edge of the truck and make sure the pallet is level with the edge of the truck. And then I just manhandle these stacks and slide them in. So I definitely get a good core workout on Saturday mornings. This truck is getting 65 tubs of sweet corn, so that's gonna be 3 skids plus 1 stack from a 4th skid. I've been asked the question before, where's all my help to load these trucks? A couple of reasons that I do this by myself. First of all, there's not very many people that want to be up at 4 a.m. on my farm to help me load trucks. It's like an hour-and-a-half job. So after that, what would I do with them? Send them back home? It just wouldn't work out very well for them. It wouldn't be worth their while. I mean, unless they stuck around here and went to a farmer's market, but it's a sweaty job and they wouldn't have time to run back home and get changed and come back again and go to a farmer's market. It just doesn't make sense. The other main reason is that I have tried it before. I actually had an adult that was older than me who was in very, very good shape, a very fit man. He actually was a bodybuilder at one time. So the guy was in very good shape. He was a very fast picker. He worked on our farm for a season, and he was willing to come out and help me load trucks. So I tried it out for maybe 2 Saturdays. I would get the corn up to the truck. You know, I have my load sheets, and he would slide it in. But I kid you not, I could do it faster myself. It actually slowed me down. I've done this for so long. I know exactly what I'm doing out here. I quickly pick up the corn, bring it to the trucks, hop off I'm quick, I move around quick. I gotta hop off my forklift, jump up in that truck, slide them in there, get back on my forklift, move it to the next truck. Pretty much quicker than anybody could just grab those and slide them off the pallet for me while I waited on my forklift. Yeah, it was a waste of time. So I've learned over time that I can do this faster myself and not have anybody out here slowing me down. I know it's dark. I wish I had some better lighting in here so you could see the process better. Some of you may be wondering if I've ever spilled a stack of corn while forking it out to the trucks. Yes, not an entire stack, but you know, I got 4 stacks of those 5 tubs each on each pallet. Every once in a while, there might be a stack that the kids did not get stacked right, and it might not have been latched in properly right here. And when I bring them out here, maybe I'll jostle it a little bit and I'll see one start to tip and lean. It probably happens maybe once a season, so not very often, and it probably only slows me down a little bit more than filming this video right now. All right, I got my 65 tubs or 260 dozen on the Worthington truck. Now I just need 15 bushels of beans and some scratch and dent tomatoes, and that truck will be ready to go. Got to load the other 4 trucks. Now what makes the other 4 trucks just a little bit more difficult is that most of them have shelves that are a little bit lower, and of course, a train. Every 15 minutes, all day long. Give me a break. I have to downstack all my stacks of 5 down to 4 so they fit under the shelves. Things are going pretty good. It's about 6:30, so I've been at it for over 2 hours. The Worthington truck has already taken off for Columbus. All the other trucks are fully loaded and ready to pull out. They all have their clipboards, new price cards, sweet corn, green beans, salsa, garlic scapes. 2 of them have blueberries and black raspberries. I think that's everything. So now I'm getting ready to load the mobile produce trailer It leaves in about an hour and 15 minutes, so I got plenty of time to finish that up, go in and change out these sweaty clothes and grab some breakfast and hit the road to the Logan County Farmers Market with one of my new employees that I'm training today. Who are you going with today, Natalie? It's now 7 o'clock and I'm officially done packing everything. The trailer is closed up and ready. I'm heading in to change clothes and then hopping in this truck to head to the farmer's market. So this is our Logan County Farmers Market setup. This is one of our smaller stands. Well, it is our smallest stand, but it still does fairly well, especially once we start putting sweet corn out. Not real busy here yet, but at least we have some great weather for a farmer's market today. Just returning home from the Logan County market. Here's the Logan County truck. Nice to get this one unloaded and out of the way before the other 4 trucks get home from Columbus. Well, folks, it's the end of the day, and unfortunately, all of this great sweet corn footage that I had intended on filming and showing you guys just didn't shake out. First of all, I was so busy at the farmer's market today, training a new employee, setting up the stand, making sales, talking to customers, tearing it all down, then coming home and unloading these 5 box trucks and a trailer and getting everything sorted out in a cooler, making room for next week's harvests, that I just didn't really have time to film much. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. It's the reality of a produce farm in the height of the season. It is busy. I was telling my brother today that, packing all these box trucks in the morning, starting at 4 a.m., it's tough. I mean, first of all, you got to be pretty fit, because I'm running around here like a crazy person, throwing things in these trucks, getting them all out on time, and then getting them all unloaded and everything sorted out in a cooler, and just dealing with all the employees. We had one late today, a couple mechanical issues on the vehicles I'll show you here in a second. There's just so many things going on, so many moving parts on a Saturday, that sometimes getting it all filmed becomes an afterthought. So I apologize. I wish I could show you guys everything, but sometimes it's just not able to be done, or at least I'm not capable of doing it, or I forget. But anyway, sales today overall were really strong, especially tomato sales, but sweet corn and green bean sales were a little off. And I think there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, it's 4th of July weekend. People's schedules are messed up. Your normal customer flow, traffic flow might be off a little bit. You have a lot of maybe visitors into town, and maybe some of your regulars are out of town. So, and also people don't expect to see sweet corn this early in the season. I mean, this happens like twice a decade for us. So usually people are expecting to see it maybe next week or the week after. And when they see sweet corn at a market, they question whether it really is our corn or Ohio grown corn. So yeah, those factors definitely played a role in the sales being off a little bit today. I'll give you a look in the cooler here in a second. It's kind of noisy in there. I'll turn the fans off so it's not so noisy. But out of 850 dozen, we brought home 300. Far more than I would like to see. I don't mind 50 or 75 or 100 dozen being brought home, because if they brought home 0 corn, that means I underpacked. So I want a little bit of corn being brought home so we don't sell out and miss out on potential sales. So I'll show you here in the cooler real quick. $300 dozen ears of corn back there. Not happy about that. But it is what it is. And overall, we still had a great day. If we could have sold out of all that corn, I think it could have been almost a $17,000 day. We're probably going to end up around $15,000, $16,000. So still not too shabby. A pretty good day overall. And everything went well. You know, we did have one of our employees show up late, so you know that was a little stressful, but it all worked out. Everybody got home safely. And the 2 truck issues I was telling you about, the Dodge Cummins that pulls our mobile produce trailer to Marysville is having has a caliper that's sticking, so it's a little squeaky. But I've decided to just do the whole brake job in the front. We're going to do calipers, rotors, and pads. That way I don't have to worry about that truck having brake issues for a long time. Now this one, the brake pedal's going to the floor. My daughter was in this truck. I'm glad she made it home safely. There's still some good brakes, but the pedal's going way too low, almost to the floor. I'm hoping it's just a vacuum line that maybe I can't find. My mechanic's gonna be here tomorrow to take care of these brakes and look at this box truck to see what's going on with those brakes. I'm extremely exhausted, and I am so glad this day is over. It was a long one, and I know it's not gonna get any easier. That's just the nature of the beast of being a produce farmer trying to run multiple locations. It's tough, it's stressful, and things don't always go according to plan, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how today ended up. I'm just glad it's over. I'm gonna go inside, take a load off, and rest the rest of this day and tomorrow, and get ready to do it all again on Monday. This is where we're gonna wrap up today's video, folks. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you guys all again real soon down the farm.